Outside of rewriting history and bringing the radicals and the conservatives together, what would be the biggest obstacle or biggest thing yet for feminism to yet achieve or conquer?
It depends. I mean, in this country right now, I think that the most important job for sane, reasonable feminists is to take the movement back from the radicals, because I think it's doing a lot of harm. I think that a movement that is captive to the loony left I think that it's doing damage in a fundamental ways to the society, to the relations between the sexes. We're already a society divided along the fault line of race. To do that to gender, to make us at odds with one another, to make little girls resentful. And you can see this if you see some of the activities of groups like the American Association of University Women. They have all these little programs for little girls to try to make them bitter feminists, by 4th grade, 5th grade. I hate that. I don't see the point of that. So I think that's one thing we have to do, is just stop the damage that's being done. But then more affirmatively, I think, reaching out to women across the world who are beginning their struggle. And no one wants Lady Bountiful Americans running over and taking over their movement. They're not going to want that. It's got to be done tactfully, intelligently, and we've got to let them take the lead and do it in their own idiosyncratic way. That's what we did. The reason, Frances Willard, is one quick story of what was great, is that in 1877 in Colorado they had an election for women's suffrage, and they lost badly with women. And the newspaper said, "Goodbye to the female tramps from Boston." And they called them carpetbaggers because they were outsiders. But Frances Willard came, she got church ladies involved, and it was all, if you're going to be a good mother, you've got to be a good citizen, you've got to protect your home, you've got to have the vote. She made it a mother's duty. No one would dare call her a tramp from Boston. She was a revered woman, and it was the women in their town. So that's probably got to happen in the Middle East. It's got to be the women indigenously. But there's so many things we could do to provide, and I've asked some of the leaders of these movements, what can American women do? And they need financial support, they need inspiration, they need help. Places like Iran, they need more than that. But, so that's a huge task. And our women's movement right now is incapable, in every way, of reaching out and helping their sisters in the Muslim world, because they're tied in knots by, not just by multiculturalism, they think that American society is a violent patriarchy. So they have so much work to try to re-educate American men. American men are the most educated in the world. Most American men are evolved human beings. Not all. There are some troglodytes, but on average, American men don't need that. But there are men around the world, and women, that still are. And one other thing we learned from our women's movement, and I didn't have time to bring this up, but the big obstacle to women getting the vote in this country wasn't the men. It was women. They had to change the women. They had to find a way. People like to say, oh, it was men that kept the women from having the vote. It was women that got in the way. And when I talk to Muslim women, they say it's the same thing. If you could change the women's mind, the men will follow. Because men have a way, even though in all cultures they want the approval of women, and they find a way, if they have to change. So there's just so much to be done, but we don't have the movement and we don't have the scholarship, but we have a new generation coming along with a lot of energy. Yes.